We're in
Mumbai! We're back on the road again. So we're back at a railway station. All railway stations do food. Breakfast time, and we think this is a masala appam, maybe. I remember the word masala, and my memory is that this is an appam with the chutney and sambar. Normally it's served warm, but because this is kind of fast food, it's cold. It's quite tasty. It's 9 o'clock. We're just about to set off from Goa, Magdoan to Mumbai. 650k, 8.5 hours, 2 AC sleeper berths with tiny windows, and Christopher is feeling sleepy. Train adventures carry on. It's just before 12 and we've been asked if we want to have thali or biryani or rice or noodles for lunch. I have no idea whether it's included or whether it's not. Who knows? I'm having thali, Chris have biryani. The other thing is, he has just informed me that actually it's a long train journey to Mumbai and we don't get there until about 9:45.
So we finished our meal and then the man just comes around. We didn't know whether we got that with a ticket because we're in this class of train or anything. Anyway, we didn't. 160, he said. So I get to pay money.
As we always say, it's something learning every time we go on a train. We've had a steep learning curve today, mainly about food. So dinner time, man comes around an hour and a half ago, asks us what we want for dinner, and between us, we thought we'd ordered, well, Chris ordered noodles and I ordered gobi, but then I got confused and I thought it was gobi noodles. And then the food's come and it's quite expensive. We were like, $3.20, that's expensive for a dinner. And Chris says we've got 4 forks. We've realised we've actually ordered 2 lots of gobi and 2 lots of noodles, so we've got 4 meals, which is why it was £3 or $6. What a rip-off. He'll attach it.
We are in
Mumbai! Just stopped by because there was some music going and there's obviously a festival lining up, and Chris got helloed from somebody, so we went over and said hello to somebody else. It was a logistics company and Muslim men, and Chris said where's the best place to get coffee, and they said next door, so we had coffee.
So we had a black coffee, and then the best thing ever is that the guy who we were talking to, he then bought us the coffee.
He said, "Oh, I get it. I'll pay for it," and that was really nice. And then he said, "Oh, where are you from?" And he wanted to know where in New Zealand we were from, and I said Christchurch and kind of braced myself because they had already said they were Muslims, and he said, "You've got a really good cricket ground in Christchurch, haven't you?" And then proceeded to talk about cricket.
And then we talked about the IPL and the New Zealand players in the Mumbai Indians team. We're in the land of the beeps again. We're in Mumbai. Mumbai apparently has 22 million people in the same size of half of London. It's the most packed in populous city in the world. It actually didn't feel too bad.
We only tried to cross the road once or twice. We just stopped and looked at a beautiful mosque, and a guy started chatting to us and said, have a look inside, and then he said, "Oh, have you heard about the shootings in New Zealand?" And we said that was where we were from, and it made me emotional after the conversation about cricket a moment ago, and then suddenly you're in tears again. And he was really nice. He said it was just one person.
One person, and not everybody is the same. It's seen around the world that is the case, and New Zealand is a lovely place with lovely people.
busiest booking hall I have ever seen. This is the queue at the Mumbai train station toilet. There's a festival going on, so it's blooming noisy outside. I'm being jostled from behind. Everybody's being told to move up, and there's a load of people in front. Is at the moment, but the architecture is amazing. It's kind of a cross between, almost looks like Orthodox Christian. I'm guessing it's a church, but like it's got big bowls on it. Onion. We said it reminds us a little bit of St Pancras Station. The juxtaposition between old and new.
Just blown away by the architecture in this place. You could be anywhere in the world now that's got really great architecture. That's easy for me to say. You could be in Oxford. This is like an all-real window in Oxford.
Of India was built in memory of the visit of King George V and Queen Mary to India in 1911. It didn't actually get opened for the public until 1924. So what better thing to do than go to see a Bollywood movie? Seeing something called...
Like Chubby.
Yes, and apparently it's got no subtitles and is entirely in Hindi.
So we've just come out of our film. Turns out that we're not very good at picking Bollywood films in the sense that the Bollywood film where it's singing and dancing, because that wasn't the singing and dancing film.
It was a singing and dancing bit right at the very end, but we were just saying it was kind of like about two people that fell in love, and she didn't want to get married, so they wanted to have a live-in relationship, capital L, capital I, capital R. But then the family found out, and they had to pretend to get married, and then the family found out, so they then had to get kind of married. It was all in Hindi, so we've got no idea really what went on, but like basically they didn't get married until right at the end. But the thing that we were just observing
was that there is inherent violence in the films, sort of like family violence, and there'll be a male character who's the strong person and will slap a lot of people.
Yeah, and we were saying like it's quite, yeah sure there's violence in New Zealand films, but it's, and I know this is a really stupid distinction to make, but it's kind of violence when it's supposed to be a violent moment as opposed to just kind of like, oh, you're getting on my nerves slap type thing.
Just there all the time.
Which I don't really like.
Yeah.
And we need to find ourselves a Bollywood movie with singing and dancing. Anyway, it's the experience.
It's 11:15 at night. It doesn't seem to have got any less busy. In fact, maybe even more busy.
9:30 in the morning, Sunday morning in Mumbai, and where are we going?
We're going on the slum tour.
It's a Dharavi slum, is the biggest slum in Southeast Asia, I think. And we've got a special tour that's taking us through. Not allowed to take any photographs there, so we're going to see if we can try and get some photos to show afterwards. But we are just quite looking forward to seeing what they can see. Apparently there are 10,000 different industries inside the slum, and the gentleman who's doing the tour has just told us as well that they make the pots for tartar, but they don't put the
slum stamp on it, because people wouldn't want those things in their widgets, in their whatevers, because it comes from a slum.
I was listening to something yesterday which said that a lot of people, like half the people in Mumbai live in the slums. So there's not just one slum; there's slums all over the place, and it's to do with they can't. There's no affordable housing. So same problems around the world, and so that they have to live in this place. But they're professionals, and they go to work in Central City and work in banks and etc. So we'll see if that's what comes of this soon. So another thing our tour guide said today was that yesterday there was an incident with some tourists, and they were taking pictures on the tour in the residential area, and the locals didn't like that, so they started fighting them with bamboos. So we said, please don't do that, because I can't help you. So we've just finished our Mumbai slum tour. That's taken us a good couple of hours, and we went around and saw plastic recycling. Lots of the plastic goes through the slums, and they make it into small pellets. They grade it, they wash it. It's pretty amazing. They make lots of leather there, and
they clean out paint cans. No, oil, was it oil? Paint. And things get reused 3 times. So I think they're doing paint cans and oil cans. So basically recycling them. Oh my goodness! Open fires. Like people. Today was Sunday, so it was a bit quieter than normal. But people very industrious. Houses were tiny, some of them, and the place during monsoon apparently gets flooded right up to your knees. So if you're living on the lower floor,
you're going to move upstairs.
You have to move upstairs. So the government, so it's a legal slum. The government allows people to build an extra floor to store things, but I think you as a family have to then live with your neighbours. There's power and there's kind of power and electricity, but water 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening only, and 10,000 different industries inside. So we saw pottery, plastic recycling, can recycling, leather. Really interesting tour.
Very interesting. Their mortality is down to around about 60 to 65 inside the slum, whereas they were talking about in the country that, grandmothers and stuff like that up to 90. So that's a large difference.
Tells you a lot about living in the city. Nice and quiet.
Kids are lovely.
Kids saying bye-bye more than hello. I think they've been taught bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Some of the places look lovely.
Some of them look quite affluent when you look inside. Kind of nicely tiled floors, clean and a bit bigger. Some of them almost look grey and dirt floors inside still.
Yeah. Toileting is done in sort of community toilets.
Yeah, 700 toilets for the whole slum of 1 million people, was it?
1 million people, yeah.
And the company we went with is not-for-profit, so they run education programs in schools and in the community centre. So 80% of their profit from the tour goes to their NGO.
A bit like going to a poupon tour or a recycling tour in the UK. It's one of those things you've got to do, just to see what is going on and what's happening to all the plastics. Lots of people are living like this. I'm pretty amazed, but also amazed in a way that it's not just squalid. And if you do a bit of tiling and a bit of paving outside the houses, then it changes everything. And a bit of paint, it actually looks alright. And people are. Some of the places I look like the rest of India, which
Yeah, not particularly slums. Oh, poppadom making, we saw that as well.
Yeah.
The ladies sitting rolling out poppadoms and drying them on kind of
bamboo cradles.
Bamboo racks, bamboo kind of like baskets turned upside down. And the Hindu area that we went through today was all brightly coloured painted buildings, so that seemed a little kind of more pleasant than some of the streets that we went through were literally just about as wide as our shoulders.
That's no word of a lie.
And it was a labyrinth, so you had to really keep an eye on where you were going. And you were walking through, it was kind of paving over the top of the kind of waterways, and really steep ladders for the room, slum, house, whatever, upstairs from the one that you're walking past.
There were only a couple of times when I thought it was minging, and that was near the river, and some place where there was like water overflowing, and in some of the areas. Did see some people that were using their hands to get any old paint out of paint pots.
Open flames.
And then they put the paint pots in the fire and to burn the rest of it off.
Yeah, and like putting the plastic through crushing machines.
Oh my God, that
no
was
guards or
so
anything.
loud.
So dangerous.
Yeah,
it's an eye opener for what goes on behind the scenes, what people do to survive, really.